This podcast is produced by the Harwood Productions Podcast Network. To learn more about the network and to find more of our shows, visit us online at www.harwoodpodcast.com.
Hi, I'm Cindy Harris. I've got some great side dishes and salads I'd love to share with you. Welcome to On the Side.
You know, there's a lot of things that you can mash besides potatoes. These autumn mashers have got celery root, Yukon Gold potatoes, and apple in them. They're just fantastic. Let me show you how I put them together. So we're going to first start by dealing with one celery root. Now, it's a pretty gnarly vegetable, but it's got amazing flavor if you know how to deal with it. So I cut off the top, and then you can cut the sides off like this, kind of like it were a pineapple. But I have got one of these sort of heavy-duty vegetable peelers that's got a serrated edge on it, and I find that that works really well for just getting that outer layer of the celery root off. And then once you get to the bottom of it, it's got this really kind of bizarre bottom on it. And so that I just take the knife and I cut that away. We really want to get as much of that heavy-duty brown of the root off as we can. Then we're going to cut it in planks. And I first start by cutting one edge off so that I have a nice flat surface for it to be stable on. And then I'm just going to cut it in about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch slices. And then I take each slice and I cut it into some long strips and then put those together and cut them into a dice. At this point, it's not critical what size dice you cut any of the potatoes or celery root or apple in. We just want them to be about the same size so that they'll all cook nice and evenly in our pot. Then I've cleaned 2 pounds of Yukon Gold potatoes, and these are a great potato because they're so buttery yellow on the inside. And I don't peel them, I just cut them in half, and cut them in half again and then run a blade through them. Make them about the same size as the celery root. And then for the apple part of this, I just get one large apple and I cut it in half, and then I use my melon baller to take out the core. Again, this is supposed to be a rustic autumn mash, so you don't have to peel anything. Then just go ahead and take your knife and cut the apples up into nice chunks like everything else. Now over at the stove, I have a medium-sized pot that I'm putting 4 tablespoons of butter in over medium heat. And once that butter gets nice and foamy, I'm just going to take and put all of our fruits and vegetables in with a little bit of kosher salt and just a little bit of black pepper. Now I want to go ahead and stir these up because I'm actually going to saute these fruits and vegetables for about 5 minutes. I want them to start cooking and just kind of keep an eye on them. Now, after 5 minutes, you're going to want to go ahead and get a little bit of fresh apple juice. And I'm using about 1/4 cup. And I'm going to put that in, put the lid on, turn the heat down to low, and let this cook for 30 minutes. Now, if you're concerned that they may dry out, you'll be surprised they won't. But you can check it halfway, but don't leave that lid off too long. Because after 30 minutes, all the celery root, the potatoes, and the apples are going to be really, really nicely cooked. So what you can do is just bring them off the heat, and you'll stir them up a little bit, and then we're going to add a little bit of milk, just 2 tablespoons of milk. And then I like to add 1 more tablespoon of butter. And I'm just going to kind of stir that in to get the butter starting to melt. And then I'm going to get rid of the wooden spoon and go for my potato masher. And I'm just going to go ahead and start breaking these up. Now, this is not meant to be a totally smooth puree. This is meant to be a sort of coarse, chunky potato mash. So you just go ahead and mash this up as much as you like. Then once you've got them as smooth as you like, make sure to taste them. Sometimes it needs a little more salt, and salt is an important ingredient to bring out the flavors. And then just go ahead and stir this, and then you can put the lid on this and set it aside, and it'll stay warm for at least 10 or 15 minutes. These mashers are great with any kind of turkey, chicken, pork, anything you've got. They hold a gravy really nicely as well. It's funny, whenever I serve these to my family, they always say, "Oh my gosh, these taste so great. How could we eat just plain old boring mashed potatoes now?"
If you'd like to get any of the recipes for any of these great side dishes or salads, go to our website at www.harwoodpodcast.com. Also, if you've got any questions or ideas for me, send me an email. I'll see you next time.